So behind me is a chalkboard filled up with physics equations. But I'm not at a school, I'm actually at a pharmacy. Kin passes by children with fevers, adults getting treatment for diarrhea, and all sorts of first aid care on her way to class. Her summer lessons are taught in the back of a makeshift pharmacy inside a modern-day concentration camp for Muslims. Like her peers, Kin is a Rohingya, part of Burma's dark-skinned minority that suffers under government persecution. Her house was burnt down during an outbreak of ethnic violence between Buddhist Rakhines and Muslim Rohingyas just 2 years ago. Now, living inside an internment camp for displaced persons, Kin and her Muslim counterparts have no access to real medical care. She's ready to change that. She studies 15 hours a day, sun up to sundown, to feed her dream. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want your profession to be? So that sounds like a lot of school. Behind this wall is a pharmacy where so many suffering people are coming every single day in order to get treatment, but there's no doctor. Top of her class, Kin's mother says her daughter works non-stop to achieve her goal of becoming a doctor. Kin is one of 12 siblings, 3 who have already graduated from college. But since Kin is a Muslim, it will be nearly impossible for her to attend medical school now. Since the violence 2 years ago, Rohingyas have been denied admittance to university, and Kin will be forced to quit after the 11th grade. But she isn't the only one with an impossible dream. I meet Tin Aung Lei, an 18-year-old boy on the outskirts of a funeral.
There is a university in Bume.
Can you go there?
But I cannot go there. There is a lot of security cops here. If I go there to learn university, they shoot me there by gun.
Tin writes his name and age proudly in English. His school closed down after authorities forced him to move into the camps.
So there is no original school to learn arts. Okay? So how we can learn temporary school?
But Kin and Tin are lucky. Their education has been cut short much later in life. In most parts of the camp, approximately 1 in 3 children go to school consistently. Those that do don't always get the education they need. Anwa is a vibrant 10-year-old girl eager to sing to me from her book. She attends a madrasa, meaning school in Arabic. Since many schools closed down after the Buddhist-Muslim violence broke out in 2012, madrasas have been popping up all over the Muslim internment facilities. There are over a dozen in the Rohingya camps we visited. We stopped by one to speak to a Wahhabi leader running a temporary school. Wahhabis are considered to be proponents of a radical, more conservative offshoot of Islam, so we were interested in hearing about what the children learn there. What sort of things are they taught here? Ahmed Hussein listed a number of subjects: Urdu, Burmese, Arabic, grammar and language, teachings from the Quran, but no secular subjects, no math or science. 40 years ago, the school used to be made up of 20 students and 1 teacher, or Molana. The school now has 350 boys in attendance and 30 to 40 Molanas. And it certainly doesn't hurt that the tuition for students is free. Are they receiving fundraising money from anywhere outside of Myanmar? The Wahhabi denied he received any funding from neighboring Muslim countries. It's all in Myanmar, he said. Though, since it sits inside the camps, the madrasa does receive food donations from neighboring countries. When he talked about his feelings toward the U.S., the Wahhabi said he is grateful for the gifts from the United States. After all, he said, Muhammad teaches us to receive all charity, even that of our enemies. But what is education like for Muslims living outside the camps? There's something to be said about taking the road less traveled. Here in the remote villages of western Myanmar, we're not quite sure what we'll find. We traveled 4 hours due north into rural villages to find out.
Is bumpy road something that you're pretty used to?
In the Rohingya village of Zizar, Muslims are surrounded by Buddhist Rakhine villages and equally cut off from the outside world. They're even watched by security guards who, don't worry guys, are there for everyone's safety? But since violence erupted in 2012, children in Zizar who used to attend school alongside Buddhist classmates in the neighboring village are no longer welcome. A 17-year-old teacher and high school graduate now gives lessons in a makeshift classroom. In the back of a health clinic, Susuyan proudly wrote her name for me.
She's writing it in English.
She wants to be a teacher too when she grows up. But some children can still not afford to attend Zizar's temporary schoolhouse. Gultaz Begum spends the equivalent of $3 on food a day on her family of 5. She could never send her 3 children to school. A couple miles away in Yethe, I meet a smiling 20-year-old, my same age, bursting with laughter as she jokes about what my bride price would be.
5?
5 to 10 cows.
How many cows are in this village?
Sejan says I'm worth at least 5 cows in gold, because I'm educated. But behind the smile is a tough reality. Sejan's house was burnt down 2 years ago in a riot that killed about 60 of her neighbors, many of them children, hacked to death. She's hoping to send her 2 daughters to school, but she herself had to quit at age 10 after her father died because she couldn't afford to pay the bills. And Sejan's not the only one. Back inside the Rohingya camps in Sitwe, I discover Maung Maung Lay playing on the outskirts of a graveyard. If the 12-year-old boy cannot find a way to raise 10,000 jet, about $10, he'll be forced to quit the 6th grade. I ask him how much he's raised, and he pulls out a few crumpled notes, earned by doing chores for neighbors. Then he leads us to the graves of his family.
What is he putting?
I asked Maung Maung what he will do to try to attend school. These are the faces of young Rohingya Muslims all trying to figure out a way to education. But if parents die of poor health care, their child has no income to pay for school. If there are no jobs, a mother cannot afford to send her daughters to school. If you deny Muslims the right to attend university, they cannot continue to grow.
How do Rohingya film here? They want to speak, but they cannot speak.
Education, it's not just a good idea, it's a human right. Inside the Rohingya camps and in more remote rural villages, it's being taken away from a population simply because they're Muslim.